we can have really brilliant conversations where we're not fighting for our position, but we're actually fighting for this connection. Welcome to Real Talk with Michael and Lisa.
This last week was a bit challenging for us.
Yes, it probably even started before the week, but you know, when we walked into the first day of the week, and I think even on a weekend, so 2 weekends ago, Lisa mentioned, hey, this next week we have more coaching appointments than we've had in a long time. Not only more, but twice as much as the most we had had in the last several months.
Yeah, and just having a realization that when we coach, it's beautiful and we love seeing people get the breakthrough and the freedom and just all that comes with it. It's a beautiful investment into people, but it actually can feel a little depleting, to be honest. Well, because we're pouring out.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful, wonderful experience, but then we also create these videos. And we have decided into being very intentional around creating these videos. And that takes time and energy. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot of time for us to create the video, but we're only telling you what we just lived. And that takes time. And that takes intentionality.
So,
wow.
There were those dynamics last week. I was processing an issue with a dear friend, and I had some anxiety over it because I thought it could be a make or break kind of thing with a friend, and I knew that we were going to have a conversation, and ultimately I was afraid that I would be rejected, and I found myself wanting to self-protect and thinking I'll just text her and not actually meet up with her. That was part of the narrative in my head.
And I didn't know this at the beginning of my first marriage, but I've learned to practice being with her. And so I got to sit and to listen and ask some simple questions, but just listen to Lisa and her process. And that's maybe not my natural bent to do that.
He's great at solving problems.
Yeah. So I just let that die. I still know how to solve problems, but to choose to step into knowing and just listening and being there, being with, it's something I'm learning, and it's valuable, but it takes intentionality and energy. And we had a long week, and I got a significantly less sleep than a lot less than 8 hours a day sleep.
And you had a whole weekend commitment?
Yeah, and then this weekend I had a commitment that went from 4 o'clock Friday evening to 1 a.m. Saturday morning, and then 8 a.m. Saturday morning to 7 p.m., and then 8 to 7 again on Sunday. A 3-day commitment, which was a 40-hour work week almost, just in the weekend. And, it was a lot. Oh, but we need to rewind. Just before that happened, I realized with Lisa, and I realized in my marriage, I realized in my life, I was playing small. What does that mean?
It means you're not showing up fully.
Yeah, I realized there were conversations I had started that I felt resistance from Lisa and from others on having these conversations. And it's okay to pause a conversation till a better time to have it when you're both in the same headspace to do it.
But we actually had a kind of a tense conversation 30 minutes before a class on Tuesday, and then we didn't really have a chance to go back to it. And then
we're busy, yeah.
And then we had another tough conversation on Saturday morning.
Oh, right. Yeah, right before 8 o'clock. That was early.
Yeah, and it just kind of built up, if you know what I mean. It just built up, and there was a lot. And we had a choice. So this is what we're getting to, all right? Mm-hmm. Thanks for sticking with us. We had a choice. We had a choice in all of this week when we felt maybe a little bit emotionally depleted. We weren't at our best. Oh,
radically emotionally
and
depleted.
PMS. I get to claim PMS. That was happening too.
We had PMS. We had a friendship that was on the rocks. Maybe
my manicurist had canceled on me the week before and wasn't fitting me in.
We had a rough conversation where several things came up that we need to talk about but didn't get a chance to.
Nope.
Then Saturday morning, more stuff came up we need to talk about that we didn't get a chance to, and we overworked. And then I worked a 40-hour weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a 20-hour weekend.
The 2 days were over 20 hours, and the night it was 30. It was a 35-hour weekend. Yeah. So I did exaggerate once again, and then my wife corrects me on camera, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with that?
All that to say we had a choice on how we're going to handle it and how are we going to experience each other and what are we going to choose into. And we had a conversation this morning where we took time to really share our heart. We didn't go into those deep issues or the ones that were from those conversations, those hot topics. We didn't really go there, but we kind of just shared our heart. Like, where are we at with our heart?
Yeah.
And we're getting to a point that we are actually processing our heart in more real time and being very self-aware of what's happening. And I actually let him know, like, I was feeling pretty disconnected from you yesterday and I wanted connection and I didn't know what that looked like. And I even admitted to him, like, over the last few days as I was emotionally challenged and depleted, I actually had a temptation to masturbate. Which is to numb pain.
Yeah, and that sounds scary, but I would rather know that, because the truth is the story has been flipped for a lot of my life. And I would rather know that and stay in connection than to just ignore and to keep running forward.
Yeah, and that could be triggering for him. And the trigger or the issue is that it's a coping mechanism, right? Masturbation is a coping mechanism more than it's a sexual issue. It's no different than over drinking, taking prescription meds, over shopping, overworking. Like, there's a lot of ways that we numb. And so I was aware, like, oh, I feel this impulse. I feel this, oh, I want to numb. I didn't. And I chose into connection with him this morning to share my heart and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where some of the anxiety that I'm experiencing even in our relationship. And it ended up being a really beautiful time to reconnect.
Yeah, and the truth was we took one of the simpler things that it felt like we were in agreement on, but we hadn't processed yet. And we just took one of those small things, and it's not a small thing, it's a big deal, but we just did it at first, before we ever started talking, we took 20 minutes and just snuggled. I just snuggled and I just held her. And no, that's it. That's all that happened. And I just held her and affirmed my love and affirmed connection. And I know those other things are part of the process, but the most important part is my heart needs to feel safe with me. So I was doing that before Lisa and I were snuggling, and then I just took the time, to the best that I know how, and it's probably clumsy today compared to how I will be next year, but I just took time to comfort her and let her know I loved her.
And he didn't acknowledge anyway that, I mean, he probably sensed that I was having some anxiety or reservation or something was going on. But it gave me the safety to actually share, like, hey, I'm actually experiencing some anxiety, and I know we have to, that there are some tough conversations that we need to process this week, and it's a little scary, and some of them aren't just about us, they involve other people, and I really want to care for their heart really well too. And we were able just to bring it into the light.
Yeah, that fear of hurting someone, the fear of being hurt, the fear of rejecting or being perceived as being rejected or perceived as rejecting someone, like, all those fears are real. And those fears, the circumstances that those fears were sitting on to feel real, to be triggering our heart racing and all that stuff, Those situations haven't changed, but we made a conscious choice to love, a conscious choice to comfort our hearts, to take care of our hearts.
And a conscious choice to connect with each other and just be real. And so that's what we want to encourage you to do.
Yes.
We understand it's not easy. It takes a certain level of emotional maturity to actually be able to do that.
It's taken me 48 years to get here, so
yeah,
be patient with yourself.
totally. But we just want to encourage you that it's possible. If you've never experienced that, I just want to let you know it's possible. That
Yes.
You don't have to numb out. You don't have to blow up. There are other options of ways to process and to maintain connection even in the midst of life being crazy, feeling depleted, unresolved tension, that it actually is possible. And so we just want to release hope to you today.
Yeah. So the key takeaways are like, take care of your heart when you're starting to feel crazy town coming on. Realize, oh wait, I love my heart. Those things will get resolved and you will do a much better job from a position of love and connection.
And connection with your partner is more important than correction or resolution in the moment. Connection. We just can't stress it enough.
We've talked about this before, but I know I want all those things resolved. But the truth is there will always be new things to resolve our entire existence here on earth. There will always be something new to go through. I want to practice connection first, connection with my heart, connection with her heart, because from that solid position, we can have really brilliant conversations where we're not fighting for our position, but we're actually fighting for this connection. Listen, we love you so much.
We would love to hear, what are your connection tools? What's worked for you? You know, we want to be intentional to share what's working for us and to pass those tools along to you, but we'd also love to hear from you. If you have some connection tools, we'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comments, start a conversation. We'd love to know.
Wow, I think we're going to blow YouTube up with this one, because that kind of vulnerability showing up where people owning their fear, their pain, and stepping into connection through it, that's incredible. I can't wait to read the comments. Love you guys.
Take care.
Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to our weekly content, we would like you to
like it, share it, or subscribe.
And if you're interested in getting to know us more, getting to know more about us, you can go to kunzcoaching.com,
where we also have some free mini courses if you're single, and we have the dating discovery class and a blog.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have a great day.